When the power goes out across an entire region, most people expect inconvenience.
Candles. Flashlights. A temporary disruption.
But what actually begins is systemic exposure. Modern cities are engineered for uninterrupted electricity. Remove that current, and hidden dependencies surface immediately. Within the first 24 hours, 5 critical systems begin collapsing in sequence. Not because buildings are destroyed. Not because infrastructure is attacked. But because interruption reveals fragility. 1. Communication failure. The first collapse is communication reliability. Cell towers don't die instantly. Most operate on battery backups for a few hours. Some have generators. But the weakness isn't immediate shutdown, it's overload. The moment millions try to call family, check updates, stream news, and search for answers at the same time, networks choke.
Bandwidth saturates. Calls fail. Texts delay. Data crawls.
Internet routing hubs require continuous power. When backup systems exhaust, neighborhoods drop offline unevenly. Information becomes fragmented. One block hears one story. Another hears nothing. Phones create the illusion of connection. But connection only exists while upstream infrastructure is functioning. Once that chain weakens, coordination collapses, and confusion spreads faster than the blackout itself.
2. Water system breakdown.
The second collapse is water pressure. Municipal water systems rely on electrically powered pumps to maintain flow across cities. Gravity-fed systems last longer, but most urban networks depend on active pumping stations. When generators fail or fuel runs low, pressure drops.
Faucets sputter.
Toilets stop refilling. High-rise buildings lose water first because vertical distribution requires booster pumps. Water does not simply sit inside pipes waiting to flow. It must be continuously pressurized and balanced. Once pressure destabilizes, sanitation risks begin rising. Within 12 to 24 hours, hygiene becomes a growing concern. Not because water disappears completely, but because distribution becomes unreliable. And unreliable water changes behavior quickly.
3. Food access collapse.
The third failure is food accessibility. Grocery stores operate on just-in-time inventory systems. Most carry only a few days of stock.
Some less.
During a blackout, electronic payment systems fail unless backup power exists. Even when shelves still hold food, transactions slow or stop. Panic buying accelerates depletion. Refrigerated goods begin warming the moment cooling systems shut down. Within hours, perishable inventory becomes questionable. Within a day, much of it becomes unsafe. The misconception is that food shortages take weeks. In reality, accessible food disappears within a single day once purchasing velocity spikes. It's not production that fails first.
It's access. 4. Fuel lockdown.
The fourth collapse is fuel access. Gas stations require electricity to power pumps. Even if underground tanks are full, fuel cannot be dispensed without functioning systems. Some stations have generators.
Many do not.
Lines form immediately. Traffic congestion increases. Emergency vehicles compete with civilians for limited supply. Fuel supports more than transportation. It powers backup generators in hospitals, water facilities, data centers, and distribution hubs. Once retail fuel access stalls, secondary systems begin running on borrowed time. And borrowed time runs out quickly.
5. Human factor.
The fifth and most underestimated collapse is behavioral stability. When lighting disappears, communication fragments, water pressure weakens, and fuel access becomes uncertain, psychology shifts. Sleep disruption increases.
Stress hormones rise.
Decision-making narrows. People act on rumor instead of verified information. Small conflicts escalate in crowded stores and apartment buildings. Households consume resources faster out of fear rather than strategy. Behavior becomes the multiplier. It determines whether limited supplies last days or disappear overnight. A total blackout does not instantly end civilization. It reveals how tightly engineered modern life truly is. Communication, water, food, fuel, and behavior are synchronized systems. Remove electricity, and synchronization collapses. The first 24 hours are not about destruction. They are about exposure. Exposure of dependence. Exposure of fragility. Exposure of preparation gaps. And in that first day, the difference between chaos and control is not luck.
It is readiness.